She can sing. She can sing. Guys, welcome to my channel. Okay, this is Revive Divine. If this is your first time here, welcome. I am Brittany Ingram, and yeah, welcome to my channel. This content is all about self-love, self-care, self-transformation, and just reviving the divine within. So welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for stopping by. I am truly grateful for clicking on this video and hanging out with your girl. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, let's get into it. Before I start this video, I did want to give you guys just a quick update on my 90-day transformation. If you don't know, I am in the process of 90 days, 90 days of wellness, 90 days of health, 90 days of just getting it together mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, if I didn't say that. And yes, so today is actually day 13. And yeah, I'm still at it. I'm still in the process. But there is a but. I still feel like I'm eating too much sugar. I still feel like I'm taking in too much sugar. If you haven't seen my what I eat in a day video, I'm gonna link it somewhere up on the screen so you can check that out. But yeah, I still think I'm eating a lot of sugar. If you haven't seen my what I eat in a day video, then you know that I am drinking smoothies, I am eating salads, but yeah, I still feel like something's missing. And with me working out, some days I feel like I don't eat enough, and then some days I feel like I eat too damn much. So that's the tug and pull for me right now. That's what I'm working on. And like, tomorrow is Monday. I will be welcoming week 3. So I'm definitely going to try to do better, because week 2 was not nearly successful as week 1. And that's why, I haven't really updated you guys on that. But yeah, I still feel like I'm eating too much. And if you watched my video, you saw my portion size of my salad. That size has increased. Your girl has had a bigger bowl and added more chickpeas and more sweet potatoes in that salad. And I wasn't one to eat bananas, but I'm starting to eat bananas again. And this week they weren't always in my smoothie. I don't even think I made a smoothie this week. I've been eating yogurt bowls and adding, bananas and berries. And your girl did start to eat granola again. So, but yeah, I could have did better this week. I absolutely could have did better this week with my eating and my nutrition. But week 3 we gonna get it together. But in the gym. We're going hard. I feel very good in that area. I'm lifting heavier. I'm getting those supersets in. But when it comes to cardio, I still feel not that great about it. I am back on the Stairmaster, and the last time I was on the Stairmaster, I just felt really exhausted. Like, I was probably on there for total 30 minutes. I try to do 30 minutes each time, and I was just on there for 30 minutes, and I got so tired so fast. I'm still having those headaches, and I know now it's not my pre-workout. I think what it is that I'm having these spikes of energy, and then I'm crashing. So I think that may be what it is, because I'm waking up with headaches. And I've never been one to have headaches, so I'm just trying to listen to my body. And yeah, but that's my update. This week really told me, hey, be patient with yourself. This is a process. You're creating habits that you've never really had before. And yeah, that's all the update I have. I am so sorry that I haven't updated you guys more on my transformation. Week 3 will definitely be better. I do want to do a vlog of just me and my day living this life, doing all these things. I get up, I work out, I make my green juice, I really want to do a vlog, so maybe that'll be my next video. But that's really all the update I have, and yeah, that's all the update I have, you guys. Week 3 is totally gonna be so much better. I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself and be too hard on myself. But yeah, today's video, I just want to have, a quick conversation. I don't want to make this video too lengthy. I hope it's not too long. But if you like the long videos, definitely let me know. But I wanted to talk about different types of self-care. Last weekend, what kind of inspired this whole idea to do this video was last weekend. I was, I had this feeling of just loneliness. Feeling of loneliness just came over my body, and I was just like, oh my God, I have nobody to talk to. I have, nowhere to go. I have, nothing to do on this Good Friday night, right? And so whatever I'm feeling like not so good, or if I had, a not so good day, a bad day, I take a bath. I love to take a bath. There's no better feeling than, laying in a tub of hot water with Epsom salt and all the essential oils and herbs, with the candles and music, and that's my thing. And on this particular day, this was my second bath of the day, and it was late. It was like 10 o'clock. I should have been in the bed. Like, girl, go to bed. But no, I wanted to take a bath to try to, get this feeling that I was feeling, out of my system. And the thing that I really like about this journey that I've been on is I don't find a way to avoid my emotions. If I'm feeling some type of way, I sit in it, I handle it, I try to figure out, what to do to make it better. And that's what I wanted to do. So usually it's a bath for me. And this particular day, it was just not happening. I was laying in the bath and I was just like, I still feel like shit. I'm not having it. This is not it. This is not helping. So I was on my phone, just on Instagram, looking at everybody living their best fabulous Friday night life. And it was just getting worse and worse. So I've been following this local store here where I live in San Antonio, and they have these amazing events like every weekend of every month, these amazing events. And I went to an event here before. It was about nutrition and fasting and how to detox your body. My girl D, she is amazing. She was actually a speaker here at this event, and she also does sound bowl healing. And shout out to her. I literally stalk her on Instagram. Like, she is the best. And we did yoga, and it was just a good time. I went with my man. It was a good time. And I was like, okay, great. So that's just giving a little background of, the kind of events they throw. So this particular event was called the Goddess Collective, and she is, so she went. And I was like, oh, okay, this is amazing. I love all the events they had, and why not go here? Why not go? So I bought my ticket probably 10 minutes after, I was kind of researching it just to make sure your girl really wanted to go. So I bought my ticket. It was about $20, and I went by myself. It was the next day, and yeah, I went by myself, and it was so amazing. It was everything I needed in that moment. The energy was so amazing. I went by myself and I left there with some amazing connections. It was just, all the women in the room was so beautiful. It was just a good time. It was a good time, and I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, but it was such a good time, and it just brought me back to a good place. It you know, rebalanced me and everything. So we did yoga. That was an amazing session. We did sound bowl healing once again with my girl D. We had amazing cacao ceremony, which I've never done before, but it was just good for, you know, grounding me, and it was amazing. They had amazing vendors there, amazing vegan food. We all stood in this goddess circle and kind of harmonized affirmations. We danced, and I'm not one to dance in front of anybody, okay? But we danced, and like I said, I left there with some amazing connections, and it was so good. So that's what kind of inspired this video, because usually the thing that I go to feel like I'm gonna care for myself, that's gonna make me feel better, didn't work. And what I needed was something more, and what I needed was connection and to be social, and that's what I was missing. And yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about different types of self-care. As you know, there's a lot of dimensions to wellness, a lot of dimensions to who we are, and when it comes to self-care, it's just not a mani, it's not a pedi, it's not a facial, and it's damn sure not a bubble bath. It's so much more than that. And when it comes to me, child, let me tell you this, I revolve my life around self-care, because there was a time where I didn't, you know what I'm saying? There was a time where I didn't put myself first. There was a time where I put everyone else above me and my health and what I was feeling. And yeah, so I revolve my whole life around self-care, and I don't want people to think that self-care is selfish, that self-care is self-indulgent, that self-care takes time to do, that, you know, it's more than that. And so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about different types of self-care. Me going to that event and just being amongst those women who I had so much in common with, it definitely let me know that, look, you're not alone. You just have to, you know, put yourself out there, tell your story, tell your truth, be honest. And yeah, that's what we're doing, okay? So we're gonna get into the video before I rant any longer, because I will, and we do not want this video to be super lengthy. So here we go. The first form of self-care that I want to talk about is physical. This one for me is definitely something that I went through and that I know will help, okay? It will definitely help you feel better. It definitely releases hormones that make you happy and make you want to keep moving. Because let me tell you something, a body at rest stays at rest. I know you guys watch my 600-pound life, because I definitely indulge in that. But you see those people who are just bedridden, those people who just don't move, and you see how they're so snappy and all of that, you know, they're not getting a physical release. And I remember being bigger and feeling stiff and feeling hard, and, you know, my body being tense. And that's because I wasn't being physical. Like, I was not being any kind of physical. I wasn't in nobody's gym. I wasn't on nobody's sidewalk walking. And you definitely have to be physical. It definitely releases a happy hormone. So yeah, and being physical doesn't always mean an intense HIIT workout or, you know, running 6 miles in the morning. It's something as simple as yoga, stretching, taking a Pilates class, just moving, calling your friends to meet you at the park and y'all just do a back bend, you know what I mean? But you definitely have to move your body. So yeah, being physical is definitely a form of self-care. Next thing I want to talk about is emotion. Emotional, definitely releasing emotions, talking about your emotions, dealing with your emotions, balancing your emotions is definitely a form of self-care. Let me tell you something. There was a time where I was always mad. I probably felt this way for about 10 years. I was like always mad, always snappy. Nobody could talk to me without me snapping and going off and just not being able to release those emotions. I always felt like I never had anybody to talk to. I was never one to communicate my feelings, ever. Not my mom, not my dad, not my brother. And honestly, when it comes to journaling, I felt like that helped me so much. And I've been journaling for about 3 years now. And it's so funny. My mom journaled literally my whole life. She has hundreds and hundreds of just journals, and I just always just see her write like literally my whole childhood. So that's probably why, you know, I write now. But yo, you have to release emotions. It will literally harden your heart, harden your energy. You'll feel so much better once you release that energy, release those emotions. You guys, I cannot express enough how important forgiveness is. You have to forgive, you have to have compassion, and you have to act with kindness. Yes, so when it comes to emotions and get them in check, definitely communicate with somebody. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's so beneficial to have somebody to talk to that doesn't judge, who's not biased, and you know, it's nice to know that somebody's on your side. So whether you have to start therapy or, you know, just start talking, but you definitely have to start releasing those not so good feelings that you have, because it will literally manifest into something else. And I remember listening to this doctor talk about one of his patients. She was married, and her husband, they were just having issues, and she never talked about it. She just never talked about it. But she was, you know, dealing with some stuff at home. And the doctor, she went to the doctor because she was having like throat issues, and he couldn't find anything wrong with her. He was like, I don't know what's wrong with you. I definitely see you have issues in your throat, but I can't diagnose anything for you. And she went to a health coach, and she began to, you know, just talk about what she does on her day-to-day and what she came there for. And he just asked her one question about like her husband and, you know, that. And it just comes to find out that her throat issues were because she wasn't talking. She wasn't releasing those emotions she had, or what she was going through, and it manifests into a sickness. And I believe that 100%. I believe like if you keep so much stuff inside, it's definitely going to manifest into a sickness or an illness. So that's definitely healthy to release. So next on my list is being social. Look, even myself, I definitely have anxiety when it comes to friendships, just because in the past of me not having boundaries, not being able to effectively communicate issues in the, you know, friendship or whatever, and then they don't work out, you know, I'm quick to cut somebody off, because I believe that, you know, a disagreement is not grounds for, you know, being disrespectful. And instead of me communicating, you know, and breaking down what happened in that moment, I'll cut a bitch off. So I'm not saying I've always been the problem, but I do take accountability for things that have happened with my friendships. And when I tell you now, it's kind of manifesting into anxiety. Like I have anxiety when it comes to making connections now. And like I said in the beginning, when I just had that feeling of loneliness, I was just like, okay, I know that this bath isn't working, so I'm missing something else. And it was definitely connection and being social. So that is so important when it comes to self-care. I highly recommend having boundaries. For me, that is something that I'm taking so much pride in now that I'm learning that boundaries will just make the relationship 100% better. You're teaching people how to treat you. So yes, boundaries for me is definitely something that I'm learning. But when it comes to being social, you definitely need a support system. You definitely need to communicate. When it comes to being social, boundaries are important. Asking for help is important. Spending time with your family and your loved ones is super important. Sometimes you just don't know that that is what you need. You need time with other human beings. We are meant here to connect with each other. We're all one. We're here to connect with each other. And honestly, I can say for myself, I said this once before where I'm like, okay, I'm an introvert. I just like being by myself and doing things alone. I do. It definitely helps me recharge sometimes. But a lot of the times I like to be with other people. I like to have that time together. I like to have that moment of just connecting with another human. We're all here going through similar things. So, why not? We're here to connect. So I don't want people to be so much of an introvert and that they're in their shell so much that they feel like they're not meant to be with other people. And I get some people are sensitive to energies. I get some people be on one and you're like, ooh, that's too much. I gotta separate myself. I get that. But there's so much healing in just being around like-minded people, being around people who want the same thing you want. It's healing. And for me, going to that event and just being there with those women who were sharing experiences that I was going through, just trying to figure out how to navigate in this world and not feel alone. It was just magical in that moment. So yes, being social for me, it's kind of up on my list that I need to do more when it comes to self-care, and just learning how to connect with people and have healthy relationships. So another form of self-care that I want to talk about is being spiritual. This has kind of shaped my whole being. And I remember laying in bed like 2 to 3 nights ago, and I asked my boyfriend, I was all like, do you remember your Saturn return? Like what happened or like what you were going through? And he was like, no. And I remember mine like it was yesterday. And if you don't know what a Saturn return is, it's every 27 to 29 years where Saturn, the planet of just discipline, that father-like energy planet, and it's when it returns to the degree, I think that you were born, or the time you were born, or the month you were born, it returns to that degree. So mine was when, and don't quote me on that, but mine was when I was 28 years old. And I remember being forced into taking some action, being forced to start a new stage of my life. And I was in this relationship. It was very, very nasty, toxic. And I'm not one to use the word toxic a lot because, it's so overused. But this relationship was very much toxic with a capital T. I remember not recognizing myself, not recognizing who I was and who I was becoming, it was so not me. You know, we just feel like this is not who I am. This is not what I want to be. This is not the woman I want to be. And that's what I felt. And like I said, I was in this relationship with this person, and he was taking me to work in my car, but you know, he was taking me to work, and the ride was just silent. It was silent. The energy was so thick. It was just so, I could tell this person was under the influence of something. It was just not, I just felt like I had enough. Like in that moment, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. So I remember getting out the car, very much slammed the door. And I remember, I don't remember what happened after that, but I remember him and my coworker had an exchange. And it wasn't like a crazy exchange, but they had an exchange, kind of like an argument. I don't know what was said, I don't remember, but they had an exchange, and I felt in that moment embarrassed. Embarrassed because this is very unhealthy as well, is I always tried to look like I had it together. That's how I carried myself. Like I had it together, like I had no issues, like I had no problems, like I was perfect. And when they were having that exchange and I saw that, I was like, man, I've been found out. I've been found out that I'm not perfect, that I don't have it all together, that I have let this person kind of crawl into my world and kind of just poison it. And I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. So I remember getting on the phone, calling my aunt, telling her what happened. I was outside crying while my coworker was, you know, inside doing her thing, working, while I'm outside in tears. And I remember calling my aunt, and she is my favorite aunt, by the way. I love my aunt. She is one to keep it all the way real with me. Sometimes you just need somebody in your life like that. Like she keeps it all the way real. Like she can say one thing and I'll be like, oh, that makes sense. Like she just simplifies everything so well. So shout out to my aunt. And she's a Muslim and she's so into her faith, but she still keeps it, you know, 100. And we were on the phone and I was telling her what happened, and she listened to my rant. And at the end of my rant, she was like, you know, what do you believe in? And I was just like, I had no answer. And she was like, well, you gotta believe in something. And then pretty much it was end of conversation. And that moment helped me kind of take a risk. After that happened, I moved to a new city. I moved to Dallas for a year and moved on. I moved on with my life, and it was hard to kind of move on from that person because I was dealing with that for so long, and I kind of didn't know how to move on. But you know, I did it. I forced myself to do it, and I moved to another city by myself. You know, I had maybe like two cousins, and my aunt lived there, but you know, I was by myself and I lived on my own, and this was my first time being on my own, and I loved it. I discovered so much about myself. I met, again, amazing people, and I just learned how to be on my own, learned how to survive by myself, learned how to not be, you know, close to this person when I thought that person was what I needed. It wasn't, because I was living by myself on my own, having myself as, you know, my biggest cheerleader. So that was definitely a great moment for me. And yeah, I learned how to be spiritual in that moment. I started to believe again, believe in something outside of myself to give me strength. And I did it. And again, when I was 30, I had another moment like that where I was kind of asking for answers, asking for direction. And I believe I told the story before on my channel where I took that random road trip with a stranger. Was not a stranger anymore. But yeah, I took a random road trip with my friend's sister-in-law, and totally random. I was at her house. She showed up at the house. She was kind of saying how she needed to get out, get away. She just stopped by and we were talking, and she asked me to go. I went home, packed a bag. Next thing I know, we are on the highway going north. We ended up in Colorado at the Gardens of God. And that moment that I had at that national park, taking that hike, sitting on those rocks, meditating and praying, honestly changed my life and changed the whole trajectory of my being. Like, that was such an amazing moment in my life where I just connected to, God and the universe, and I just prayed and I felt that I was heard. So me discovering my spirituality, and it just helped so much. It healed me so much, and that's what kind of started me on this journey of wellness, is connecting spiritually. So when it comes to spirituality, whatever you believe in, you just have to believe in something, and it'll definitely get you through. You can use so many things to connect. For me, in that moment while I was at the Gardens of God, it was definitely spending time in nature, spending time alone, meditating. Journaling also helped. And now that I'm in an environment that I feel safe and secure, I have set up a sacred space. And so being spiritual will definitely heal you. That is a form of self-care. If you need it in that moment, find a way, an easy way to connect. The next form of self-care that we are going to talk about is money, dinero, okay? Money. When it comes to money, I know we're on Instagram and we see people living these extravagant lives, on vacation, having these new cars, living in these amazing apartments. Just know you don't know what's in their pockets, okay? They're not posting that debt, okay? They're not posting that monthly budgeting. You just don't know. And for me, I had to learn some very hard lessons with my finances. And look, don't feel like you have to keep up with the Joneses. And for me, like I told you guys, when it came to just feeling like I had to look a certain way, look like I had it together, that was me feeling like I had to keep up with, everybody else and their, a look and their aesthetic. But now I know that I am the aesthetic, that, seeing other people and how they live, I don't know their situation. But let me tell you this, the only goal that, should be attained is being debt-free. There's nothing like being debt-free. There's nothing like not having a car payment. There's nothing like not having rent to pay. And for so long I have felt like I was in survivor mode, and a lot of decisions that I've made in my life that, I'm gonna get emotional again. A lot of things that I've learned was a lot of things that I have learned were things that I had to go through because I felt like I was in survivor mode. I had nobody to turn to for answers. but there's so many free resources out there to learn financial literacy. There is YouTube, there is hella books, there's so many vlogs and blogs out there about money and how to invest in those kind of things. So yes, saving, budgeting is very important. Money management is very important. Those bills hit every 30 days, and you know, you gotta feel comfortable and secure that every time they come around, you're not stressing about it. You know, don't worry about having your nails done and your lashes did and buying, you know, new shoes. Honestly, none of that matters. None of that matters. Definitely saving for your future is key. There's not too much I can say about financial because I don't have all the answers. But I'm so grateful that, you know, I'm with a partner. Because first, I know money can be scary to talk about, you guys. I know money is terrifying to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about money. Nobody likes to talk about how much money they make, how much money they bring in. But yeah, I know that 50% should go to needs. I know 30% should go to wants and, you know, those experiences, and 20% should always go to savings. Don't feel like you have to rush. For so long, I felt like I had to rush and, you know, get it together and figure it out. But don't let the fear of missing out, the fear of, you know, you only live once, don't let that just hinder your money management. I've made so many stupid, dumb choices that I'm still trying to bounce back from, that I did, I don't know, 7, 5, 2 years ago. And it's definitely inspiring, and it keeps you going, just knowing, just having something to work towards. But yeah, don't feel like you gotta have the new everything. Don't feel like you have to keep up with the Joneses. Debt free, again, should be the only goal. Being debt free so you can invest and, you know, do other things. But definitely don't be out here splurging. Don't be out here buying things you don't need. And yeah, so that's definitely a form of self-care. It will definitely help you to feel stable, and just knowing that you are working towards having that security will definitely, you know, help you deal with your financial wellness. I know people always talk about the outside and being physical and what you eat and things like that, but when it comes down to it, equally just important is being financially fit. A couple more forms of self-care that I want to talk about, and that is work, having time management, having a positive work environment, having that work-life balance is important, okay? Also your environment, your space, being organized, cleaning your space is also important. If you're living, you know, in a messy environment, I guarantee you what you're feeling inside is also a mess. And I also want to talk about having those personal hobbies, getting to know yourself, honoring yourself. That is also a very important form of self-care. So that pretty much wraps up today's video. I just want to say, if you feel like you're complacent, if you feel like you're in the same place you were last year, I definitely want to say, take the time to keep learning. That is so important, to keep learning, to keep elevating. There's so much out here we can learn, so many resources we can learn from. Being complacent, that doesn't do anything, that doesn't benefit you in any kind of way. So definitely always continue to keep learning. That pretty much wraps up today's video. I just want to give you guys some different types of self care. It's not always you know, the outside, the physical. It's not always just relaxing. It's so many other ways we can honor ourselves. And let me just say this: if you feel like you're complacent, if you feel like you're in the same place you were last year, definitely another form of self-care that I did not mention is continue to learn. Continue to build yourself up, continue to elevate. It's so much out here that we don't know. It's so many things we can learn, so many resources, free resources we can learn from. You don't have to feel like you're stuck. And for me, my whole journey started when I felt like I was stuck. I felt like there was no way for me to go. I felt like I had the same damn job. I was around the same people. And yeah. No complacency over here, okay? So definitely continue to learn no matter what field you're in. Continue your education, and that's not always going out to get a degree, but definitely continue your education, continue learning, continue to gain knowledge, and get enough rest. Make sure you exercise, make sure you stay organized, and staying organized also helps you to be productive. So yes, that is all I have for the video. Thank you guys for stopping by once again. I truly appreciate it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm gonna leave my Instagram and everything down below. If there's some different ways that you know you care for your inner self, definitely leave it down below. I would love to hear about it. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next one. Peace.